Okay, I am excited because today concludes day 9 of me trying to beat the S&P 500. Today my portfolio finished approximately 1% up, while the S&P 500 finished down approximately 0.18%. Following is my portfolio. And here you can see that I have short positions, which are represented by these negative numbers, these negative quantities, and also positive positions. You can see the market value, the day change, and you might notice that the total for the day change is slightly different than if we scroll back here and we look at the day change, and that is because this shows your unrealized gains, or my unrealized gains or losses, separate from realized gains, which is when you close out of the position. Then we move on to total unrealized gains slash losses, and you can see a sea of red. And that is because my strategy right now is to gradually increase the position as it is and as it becomes overextended. If we look at something that is the largest and not only exciting, but there's a huge number in terms of the loss of a little over $1,000. And this is for ticker symbol ICUI, also known as ICU Med Incorporated. You can see that I have a large unrealized loss, but if we go to realized gains in this scenario, I'm up $628. I think the most exciting and interesting part of this is I have been shorting this stock and it's done nothing but go up. Despite this, my net loss is only around $400. So if we go and look at the chart of ICUI, I entered around this area, around $124, because I saw the RSI. It's a very much a great initial indicator to use to get a sense of where the market is, where a stock is in terms of its price action. And it skyrocketed since that in the last month or two at a highs of adding 44%. And now it is extremely, in my opinion, overextended according to the RSI. And I believe it makes this beautiful cup and handle pattern where you had this large drawdown, and then you've had this consolidation period, and then your rise up. So psychologically, what tends to happen is people who have longed here, and then there was this drawdown, they're starting to panic, and as the price starts to reach those previous levels, people want out. They're done worrying about the stock, they just want to break even. And so what tends to happen is it will drop 1/4 of what the drawdown is supposed to be. So I'm thinking, and this is an important part of forecasting, you want to look at the base case scenario, the best case scenario, and the worst case scenario. And I think the art of forecasting very much applies with risk management and trading. But before I get into what my future plans are, going back to the unrealized gains versus the realized gains, how did I manage to get $600 plus on a stock that was just trending up when I was shorting? The initial size of short positions that I opened here was very small. As it continued to climb up, I increased my position size to a max of about 24,000 or even above that. You can see the highs of $187 plus. Here, there was a retraction. I gained probably around $200 here. Here, there was a retraction off of previous level support. I actually thought that this would be the resistance level where you would see that handle patterns start to form, but instead it was just a bounce off the exponential moving average. But there I still benefited another $300. Here I recognized that there was a little bit of resistance here, so another $100. So that is where I got my $600. And if you look long term, these are pretty small retractions. So we have yet to see a large retraction, which I'm so excited about, because what this essentially means is there are profits on the table, right? I'm at a net loss of a little over $400, but even if my base case scenario, and I'm going to go through all three scenarios, even if just my base case scenario happens, I'm going to have a very solid, profitable position here. So now, without further ado, let's look at what I'm thinking in terms of base case, best case, worst case. And like any good forecaster, it's recognizing that these scenarios are more of a scale, because pinpointing exactly what is going to happen and the specifics of the price action, the duration of where the price is going to be, is very difficult. So this is a spectrum of possibilities. So let's start with base case. So I do think, and this line represents another potential area of resistance, right? That I think this is where it bounced off. And I think base case is let me zoom in a little bit. You see that there was a decline today. It dropped almost 2%. I think there will be a initial bounce from this, but it will not be strong enough. And I will add to the short positions as it has a slight bounce upward. But I think from there it might consolidate a little bit, but then finally have that drawdown, that decrease to, I believe, this 163 level. And I guess I'll represent that by a blue line. Switch up the colors a little bit. There we go. Took me long enough. So that's where I will buy back. Now let's look at what if it has a bounce that is more significant than just a little bit, right? Let's say it goes back to this previous level highs, the 52-week highs. That's going to be extremely painful. And my worst case scenario, then I'm going to have to think of trying to break even or accepting the fact, because if it does go to worst case scenario, then it's going to be very stressful. I'm going to see a large fat negative number, not enough to break my balance, but it's going to be a hit. And if it continues to climb, which it might break that threshold and climb even more to the next, and I'll have to find the next resistance level, which might be right here. So worst case scenario is it continues to climb, another 10%. And there I'm going to have to be very careful with my incremental adds in my position size and strategic. And there's a limit to, even for shorting, there's a limit to how much you can add to your short selling size. My current size for my portfolio is a little over 29,000. I can short more than that amount, but once again, there's a cap to that. So now, happy thoughts. We're going to go into best case scenario. So best case scenario is from here, you really have this stock just go straight down, go to this 164 level, have consolidation, and then it goes down even further. That is best case scenario. So based on all these three scenarios, I'm going to currently put my limit order positions, taking all of those into consideration. Also, for these short positions, this platform does not allow me to set short limit orders until market hours or 30 minutes before market hours open or start. So unfortunate, but let me just do, I went here to, Okay, 73. So right now I'm placing a buyback position. So what I talked about earlier of increments. And then, excuse me, edit. So that's 35. And then I'm going to do 40 here. Actually, let's do 35 here. This would be my base case if that gets fulfilled. Send. And then with the remaining number of shares, which is just 3. No, I think I would want to, let's say, remaining number of shares 8. So say edit, and I'm going to put 8 here for my best case scenario. All right, and that is all.